Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Changemaker series. We haven't done one of these in a while, but I'm happy to start them up again. And I'm here with Amanda, one of our lead change consultants at Apps Associates. Today, we're spotlighting a transformation story about a global medical device company that moved from EBS to cloud. Now, this one's powerful because it shows what truly happens when you put people at the center of change and invest in your people. So, Amanda, when you first came onto this project, well, first of all, thank you for being here with me
Thank
today.
you for having me.
But when you first came when you first came onto this project, what really stood out to you as one of the biggest challenges for this client that they were facing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think for this client, they've been on their legacy system for over 20 years, right? So that's just decades of workarounds and things that they were used to in their day-to-day job. So it wasn't just a tech go live, it was very much a massive mindset shift because they also had to change business practice along with like their technology, which is huge. And in addition to that, they had different regions, different user groups, and just a lot of concerns about how that change would impact, day-to-day work across the entire organization. So it was huge.
Mhm. And then often we say like technology doesn't transform an organization, the people behind it do. We've kind of followed that mentality throughout, us being here, and that's really where change management comes in. So, Amanda, can you share a few strategies you and the team use to bring those employees along that journey and life cycle of
Yeah,
change?
absolutely. Yeah, I think, we often don't think of it as a culture shift, but it really is. And so building a change champion network so that adoption is sort of driven locally and they're hearing from their
Mhm.
peers and they're hearing that communication from them, not just from the top was paramount, right? And then consistent communication and those readiness checks. So people knew what was coming. So we also armed that change champion network with that communication. So people knew in the moment what was happening, where it was happening, and felt really involved in the process, which was really key. And then the feedback loops, right? So allowing Q&A sessions and tools where they can actually share their concerns, right? They can tell you where they're struggling and help you understand
Mhm.
where they're coming from and where that fear of change, right, is resonating. And so I think that was really important as we were building out the most important part, which is that training strategy, right? So making sure that we're thinking about those users from that level. They need to be able to do their jobs day to day. So we need to have role based training, hands on sessions. We need to have documentation and job aids as well, but also that sort of centralized training hub, in addition to, a training team that we help develop at the client so that they're able to take this further and help each other on a sustainable level. So I think couple that the change champion network with that training strategy and really implementing that is really what made the biggest difference and impact. So it wasn't just training users on a system, it was creating confidence and competencies in order for them to do their jobs, which is a huge game changer for a client when they employ this strategy. So
Yeah, yeah, that's incredible. You said confidence, and uh, that's what we would all strive for. So tactically, or let's say from a numbers standpoint, give me some highlights
yeah.
here. What was the impact across the global organization?
It's pretty massive undertaking, right? So when you think about what the impact looked like, we had over 3,000 global users engaged ahead of go live. So that just gives you an idea of the scale, right, of the people part of this transformation. And then we also created 2,000 plus user instructions. So that team that we developed helped create all that content that was just really valuable for people for go live, right? So that they knew how to do their jobs, but also had that reference point to go back to, which was really key. And we've definitely seen that since go live. And then just those role specific training sessions. So, really narrowing in on having those subject matter experts help to lead those sessions with our support and materials to ensure that from a role perspective, we were really targeting the actual things they needed to know for go live, how to do my job day to day, a day in the life, if you will, right? And then, of course,
Yeah.
we looked at that readiness, right? So I think a really important statistic that we overlook sometimes is really checking in and making sure people feel ready and are feeling positive about the change and positive about the journey that they're on, right? And so I think having that
Mm.
really high 90% positive feedback rate ahead of go live has made a huge difference as we moved into this hypercare space, right? And just knowing they can rely on each other, and go
Mm.
back to that training and that foundation that they helped build, that we helped build. So
Yeah, that's an incredible step.
yeah. I mean, I love seeing the leaders
Yeah.
too and employees feel ready. And that energy is just, you can't beat it. It's just where that confidence comes in and that buy-in. So
Mm. Yeah, and that's really at the heart of it, right? The change management didn't just reduce the risk; it created momentum and confidence and energy around the change.
yeah.
It turned, what we would coin, that technology transformation, maybe more flat and linear, into something that people wanted to be a part of and were empowered
Mhm.
to be a part of.
Yeah. It was
Um,
truly a
so,
movement, right? Truly a movement for these
yeah.
employees.
Well, congrats on Go Live. I know you've been working on this project for a very long time, and it's a huge effort. And 90%, I mean, kudos to you. You are a champion change maker. So this is why we want to, keep highlighting this series and the change maker voice. It's such a pivotal and iconic, fundamental um, part of transformation. And so, thank you for joining me. More to come on these, and looking forward to the next one. And congrats again.